to the shake, baby. Hey, hey, hey. Twist and shake, baby. Do the twist, baby. Twist and shake, baby. Do the shake, baby. Shake it up, baby. Twist and shake, baby. Do the twist. How long, baby? Can you do the twist? How long can you do the shake? Twist and shake. Twist and shake.
Me and my daddy was coming into town.
Silver lady, silhouette.
Round the Billy goat leading the hound.
Silver lady, silhouette.
Hands go donk, Billy go jump.
Silver lady, silhouette.
Throw my brother right over that stump.
Silver lady, silhouette. Don't you rock me, daddy-o. Don't you rock me, daddy-o. Don't you rock me, daddy-o. Don't you rock me, daddy-o.
Don't you rock me, daddy-o.
Don't you rock me, daddy-o. Don't you rock me, daddy-o. Don't you rock me, daddy-o.
Where my old auntie promised me.
Silver lady, silhouette.
When she died, she'd will to me.
Silver lady, silhouette.
She lived so long, her head got bald.
Silver lady, silhouette.
She got out the notes and down the tall.
Silver lady, silhouette. Don't you rock me, daddy-o. Don't you rock me, daddy-o. Don't you rock me, daddy-o. Don't you rock me, daddy-o.
Don't you rock me, daddy-o.
Don't you rock me, daddy-o. Don't you rock me, daddy-o. Don't you rock me, daddy-o. Don't you rock me, daddy-o. Don't you rock me, daddy-o. Don't you rock me, daddy-o. Don't you rock me, daddy-o.
Where my old auntie promised me.
Silhouette lady, silhouette.
When she died, she will to me. Sing.
Silhouette lady, silhouette.
Where she lived so long, her head got bald.
Silhouette lady, silhouette.
She got out the notes and down the tone.
Silhouette lady, silhouette. Don't you rock me, daddy-o. Don't you rock me, daddy-o. Don't you rock me, daddy-o. Don't you rock me,
One
daddy-o.
more time. Don't you rock me,
Daddy-o, don't you rock me, daddy-o. Don't you rock me, daddy-o. Don't you rock me.
daddy-o.
That's an odd couple of songs featuring Van Morrison mainly. The first one was a track called Twist and Shake from an album called The Complete Bang Sessions. Twist and Shake is quite odd. Apparently Van Morrison was locked into a record deal which he didn't like, and he had to make an album, so he just went in and sang the first thing came into his head, which is kind of like what we do in this programme.
Yes.
I see what I did there.
Yeah.
And then
You know
the
what I like about that?
I'm not finished yet. Sorry, Sean. It's important that the people hear what the music is. I know you have stuff to say, and I'm not going to stop you. But there's nothing worse than that. Whenever you hear two songs, and then the DJ, which is what I am, tells the people what they are, and then halfway through me telling the people what they are, another man comes in, and then I start to talk to you, and then I forget to finish what I was saying before. So the people were saying, why didn't he tell me what that song was? So let me just do that. The second track was called Don't You Rock Me Daddy-O from an album called The Skiffle Sessions, featuring Van Morrison, Lonnie Donegan and Chris Barber, one of which is dead.
Two.
Chris Barber's not dead.
Was he not?
Not yet.
Was he not? I thought he was dead.
No, he's
Is
not
his
dead.
wife dead?
Audley Patterson. He used to be married to Audley Patterson from Belfast. Yes, she's gone. And actually, a guy was telling me the other day there was a little do, apparently, a couple of months ago, somewhere, not a very major venue in Belfast, some small place.
Right.
And they decided to have a little kind of tribute night to Audley Patterson. And they had various people, I can't remember who was there, singing songs that she had sung. And, you know, they invited people to come along, and Van Morrison showed up.
Did he?
He did, yeah. Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
I think that's really nice. He sat in the front and apparently enjoyed himself.
You know what I like?
That song is called Don't You Rock Me Daddy-O from an album called The
Skiffle Sessions. The
Skiffle Sessions, the Skiffle Sessions, which was recorded in the Whittle Hall in Belfast in 1998. The reason why I'm doing all this is Van Morrison is in our city at the moment. He was appearing in the Millennium Forum last night, and he'll be in the Millennium Forum tonight, kicking off the City of Derry Jazz Festival.
I would
and
like
he
to
won't
have
be
been
coming
there.
in here to be interviewed.
No. I would like to have been there that night to record that.
Don't you rock me, daddy-o. Don't you rock me, daddy-o. Don't you rock me, daddy-o. rock me, Daddy-o? And I got a
That's good. That's good. And what did you call the other fella from that time as well too? When Lonnie Donegan started the ball rolling, and then there's another guy. I think he was Scottish.
I don't want to go back that far, Sean,
No,
because
but
many
it
people
doesn't
listening
matter.
to this program are under 80. So I don't really want to go back to the origins
Excuse
of skiffle.
me.
I know
These
it seems
guys,
to you like it was yesterday.
influenced Van Morrison.
Don't you rock me, Daddy?
Well, it could have been many people. Pete Seeger.
Scotland. Scottish?
Scotland.
Yeah.
Many men.
All right.
I don't want to go down that road because people will start ringing in and give us names of obscure. Himish
All
Imlach.
right. No,
people
Johnny
like that.
Duncan and the Bluegrass Boys.
Johnny Duncan and the Bluegrass
You're
Boys.
not talking well this morning. Johnny Duncan and the Bluegrass Boys.
Johnny
Was he
Duncan and
Scottish?
I can't get my tongue around that kind of stuff. Johnny Duncan and the Bluegrass Boys were a pale imitation of Lonnie Donegan. He copied Lonnie Donegan.
Yeah.
It
I
was like
traced
one-
their little footprints in the snow. Was a big number for him. But
Thank you for that.
that's all. But I get the impression that Van Morrison,
Yeah.
one of the few people, I may be wrong here, one of the few people that perhaps Van Morrison looked up to and admired and possibly enjoyed the company of. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I would say it could have been Lonnie Donegan.
I would say so, yeah. Well, obviously, he invited Lonnie to do that concert with him in the Whitla Hall with Chris Barber. Chris Barber, of course, was one of the first people to feature skiffle music in his band, and Lonnie Donegan was a jazz guitar player. And he had this hobby of kind of playing this old-time music, and he used to do it in the middle of a concert and a kind of a break. And Chris Barber said, that sounds good, why don't you do that? So he kept expanding it a wee bit. Then he went out on his own, and he recorded Rock Island Line, Don't You Rock Me Daddy-O, and then rock and roll was born after that. And I'm sure it was a big influence on Van Morrison. I'm
See,
sure-
like, if I ever meet Van Morrison,
He might come in there. He might come in today. You don't know.
yeah, if I ever meet Van Morrison, I'll tell him the story of me and Lonnie Donegan, me buying Lonnie drink. You see?
That'd be a great story
Yeah,
to tell
I'm
him.
sure, and Van, I'm sure, will be greatly impressed.
Maybe perhaps someone listening to this will tell Van today, and he'll come down and he'll ask you what that story
He
is.
may phone me.
I implied later that Van Morrison would not be interviewed. I did not ask him.
You implied later.
No, I implied.
What are you talking about?
I implied earlier that Van Morrison would not be interviewed. I implied earlier that Van Morrison had refused to be interviewed. He did not. I didn't ask him. So he's not coming in here. The reason why he's not coming in here is because nobody asked him. Because I didn't like to. I wish he'd come in here. I'd love to interview. I interviewed him before, you know.
Yeah.
He never talked to me. Maybe perhaps he'll come again. Good morning.
Apparently, Chris Barber lived in Ross Trevor, according to this text message I have.
Well, I would live in Ross Trevor if I had a chance to, because I love Ross Trevor. There's two places I like to live in, Ross Trevor and Glenarm.
Where does Van Morrison live?
Various places. I'm not quite sure where he lives.
Well, where would he call home? You any idea? Apart
Hyndman
from
Street?
Belfast, you know.
I don't know. Maybe L.A. I don't know. You don't know. He's probably got homes all over the place.
Private guy, isn't he?
Yes, he is. He's got a lot more money than you and I. He probably lives in all kinds of places. Gerry, let's start the programme for the people who are listening, because they'll be waiting for it to start and wondering what the agenda is. There is no agenda. Good morning.
Apparently there was a very good interview on not Radio 4, BBC 4 last night. It's been on several times. Parkinson and Richard Burton.
Oh, yeah, I saw that before. It's great. I know the story behind that interview. People who watch that interview may think that Parkinson is dressed very oddly.
Yeah.
Because he's just wearing an old jumper,
Yeah,
basically,
yeah.
and an old open neck sweater. And the audience is quite weird. Apparently what happened was this. He'd been trying to get Richard Burton to come in and do an interview for ages, and Burton always said no. And then apparently Burton rang one day and said, listen, I can do that this afternoon if you like. An hour before. And he was flying out to L.A., apparently 2 or 3 hours later. So Parkinson literally jumped out of his desk, went down, organised the thing, and went up to the canteen and got all the girls to work in the canteen to change their clothes and come down and be the audience. And he came in and talked to them. Great interview.
I was told that Burton agreed to do it before the pubs opened.
Well, that's part of it as well. But you see, it was at the last minute. Because if it hadn't been last minute, why would Parkinson not have changed? He didn't even change. And he had no audience.
Do you know that he didn't speak to his father?
Michael Parkinson?
No, Richard Burton.
Why not, I wonder?
His father never recognised or refused to recognise his talent as an actor.
His father farmed him out to another man.
And as a result, he didn't attend his father's funeral.
That's very sad. Imagine somebody not attending your funeral. Imagine your children not
He
attending.
used to smoke over 100 cigarettes a day and drink 3 bottles of vodka when he was in his prime.
That's kind of like what I do
Yeah.
at one stage. Well, he smoked about,
Yeah,
I
about
remember
100.
watching that interview, he smoked about 6 or 7 interviews. I can't talk. What's wrong with me
wrong
today?
with you
I don't
today?
know what it is. I'm like Mr. Malaprop. Dr. Spooner.
He smoked about 3 or 4.
Anyway, let me start this program again. Do you know why I can't talk? Because I haven't started the program. That's what it is. I know what's wrong.
What?
I'm on FM.
Oh, that's hateful.
I can't talk on FM. I can only talk on AM. See the difference now?
See the difference.
The difference right away. See, what happens is, in my ears here, I can either listen to Radio Ulster AM or Radio Ulster FM. Now, if I listen to Radio FM, it sounds kind of very clear and puts me off, makes me nervous. But if I listen to AM, it sounds dirty. And as I'm dirty, I feel at home. Good morning. Welcome to
You
the
think
program.
Ken would have spotted that?
Ken doesn't know anything. The number to ring if you want to contact this program is 08459 555 678. The email address is jerry.anderson@bbc.co.uk, and I'm the only eyes what see those. A text messaging service can be sent. Mr. Coyle will see those, and indeed Emma.
There's a text here requesting you to tell your story
81771.
about the time you met the Queen.
8177. I told that before.
I know, but I'm only telling you there's a request here. Gerry, would you tell the story about the time you met the Queen? Just a text message.
Isn't it gratifying to get requests for stories, even when they know they're not true? No, this one is absolutely true.
Oh, I know that.
Will I tell it?
If you so wish.
But you always try and stop
No,
me.
let's see if you can get it. If we can spot a different ending.
Okay, I'll tell it again. A couple of years ago, no, it's more than that now, maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago, when I was much younger, there was a particular day inaugurated by the Queen to celebrate broadcasting in the UK. So, Buckingham Palace laid itself open for a day, and the Queen and Prince Philip and Prince Andrew, Prince Charles wasn't there, welcomed all the great broadcasters of Britain. Now, there are a number of people sent from Northern Ireland, a number of people sent from Wales, people sent from Scotland, and I don't know what the decision process was, but it was nothing to do with merit. I think I drew the long straw. Anyway, myself, I think Wendy was with me.
She was. No,
And
Wendy
was
was
not
invited.
Wendy?
Well, Wendy was invited, but she wasn't with you.
Well, let's put it another way. Wendy was in the party,
Yes.
okay? So we went to Buckingham Palace. Now, it's a very strange thing, because when you go to Buckingham Palace, they send you a big kind of pack for all the things that you need, right? So it didn't
like a
start off
toothbrush, clothes, and
underpants,
Is that
kind
right?
of the royal underpants, yeah? Royal vest,
Right.
royal socks. No. They send you a number of passes, right? Now, what happened was that I went to London, I had to do something else, and so I had to go to Buckingham Palace on my own. So I went into a taxi, and I said to the guy, take me to Buckingham Palace.
Do you mind if I interrupt you?
Well,
Do you mind?
it's too late now.
No, but I can stop interrupting you.
Go ahead.
Stop interrupting you.
Go ahead and keep on interrupting me.
Why don't we get people to phone in and finish the story?
Now, that's malicious.
No, it's not.
It's vindictive.
But it's a good idea.
No, you started this. You made me tell this story.
I
and then
did
you
not. It was
stopped
a
me
texter.
and asked people to ring in and finish the story. But see, they can't embellish it. See, they can't add things on to it, as I'm doing.
Yes.
Anyway, I went into a taxi and I said, take me to Buckingham Palace. He says, what do you mean? I said, take me to Buckingham Palace.
He didn't say it to you. What do you mean?
Yeah, he did.
He did not.
He did.
Right.
He said, what? He said, look, if I'm going to tell this
Yeah,
story...
but you go to taxi. Take me. What do you mean? What do you mean?
No,
What do you mean,
eventually
take
he
you
meant,
back
what do
in
you mean
Palace?
Buckingham Palace? Outside or what? That's what he meant.
Well, you mean taxis drive into Buckingham Palace?
No, he said,
What?
it's very difficult to get. There are a number of places you can go in Buckingham Palace. You can go to Green Park, you can go outside the Ritz Hotel, you can go down the mall, you can do all kinds of different things. And I said, where exactly do you want to go, basically? He didn't say, what do you mean?
Yeah, okay.
I just said that kind of a shorthand. You know, can you follow this?
Right.
So, and I said, well, basically, I said, I want to go inside the palace. He said, inside the palace? I said, I've got 2 passes here. I've got one pass that gets me in the main door, which is round the side, and I've got another one that gets me into a little anti-door to the place where I'm going. He said, where are you going? I said, well, I'm going to the main banqueting room. There's a bit of a do there for broadcasters. He says, that's great, mate. Mm-hmm. You see? So we went in the taxi, and I went through the main gate, give the guy the big thing, and then through the little thing. And then when we came to the little door where we had to go in to the do, all the photographers, I told you about this, all the photographers were outside. And when I was in this taxi on my own, of course, and then when they seen the taxi coming, they ran over. And the door opened, and they all started taking photographs. And then when I came out, they said, "It's all right, it's nobody."
Right.
You see, so that didn't start good.
No.
So I went inside, and there was a big, big staircase. And below the staircase, everybody was mingling about. And I looked around, and I saw people like David Attenborough, David Frost, all those people, Jeremy Paxman.
Are you not announced?
No, I just walked in.
Oh,
No, this is the ante room where everybody's standing around having a wee drink before they go up to the big room upstairs where the Queen is. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I know, but do you think a boy would announce you?
Mr. Gerald Anderson.
Yeah.
15 Sackville Street, Londonderry.
Yeah.
They don't do that.
I thought.
Lord and Lady Anderson. I'd prefer that. Anyway, you go inside and you stand there, and I'm looking around, I'm saying hello to everybody.
You go to the bar.
No. Will you wait?
Right.
And I'm saying hello to everybody, and I suddenly realise I have to stop saying hello to everybody because I know everybody in the room, but I've never met a single one of them. I mean, I'm saying hello to Clive James, and he's going, "Hello." You know, and he's looked at me as if I'm mad.
He was driving the taxi earlier.
He was in the taxi. He was driving the taxi. He's not doing as well as he used to. I say hello to Clive James, and he says hello, but he looks at me odd because he doesn't know me. And then I say to myself, I'll have to stop saying hello to people. Right. And then a wee man comes up with a tray. Now, although I looked, that's a very small waiter. And I looked round me, and there were about 4 or 5 waiters, and they were all tiny. And I mean about 5'1". Right. And I said, how could this be? And then I worked it out. They've got a tray. Right, you're standing there. A big waiter comes over with the tray. He has to bend down. But a small waiter just holds it out and you just reach out for the thing. Right? So it's all small waiters. I said, this is organised. This has been developed over hundreds of years, I thought. They know that they can't have big waiters because it makes the people feel uncomfortable. We tiny waiters. Then you don't have to reach up or down. You just reach across because the wee waiter goes like that. There you are, sir. And what they have in the tray is like a whiskey already poured, a vodka, a gin, maybe some tonic, maybe some Sprite,
All right.
Sunny Delight, and then they had little things like eggs, like and a little thing that you dip into them, like quail's eggs or something like that. Right. So he said, "What would you like, sir?" I said, "Have you any vodka?" He said, "I have indeed, sir." He said, "Would you like a quail's egg?" I said, "Yes, I'll have one of those." So I had a little vodka and, indeed, white lemonade. But they don't have white lemonade. They don't call it that. They call it something else. Oh, I hit the microphone.
They call it lemonade.
Lemonade, yeah.
They don't call it white lemonade.
See, nobody outside of Northern Ireland knows what white lemonade is. If you go to America and say, "Give us a vodka white lemonade there," they look at you as if you're completely insane. Right, anyway, so I linger. I went through 3 or 4 little waiters. So I had 3 or 4 drinks, you see. Now, that's enough to loosen my tongue, but not enough to make me rotten, right? So I have 3 or 4 vodkas. That's my fighting weight. You know what I mean? Do you know when some people, they need about 8 or 9 vodkas to limber up?
What time of the day is this, by the way?
4 o'clock.
Right.
Right. Now, do you know some people... Now, I have to tell you something about myself. Now, do you know the way people... I think you're like this too. You need a drink for your personality to come out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The more you drink, the more open you become. I'm the opposite. The more I drink, the quieter I get. Because I am grand when I have 1 drink. I'm at my peak when I have 1 drink. And after that, I go downhill. Because I'm all right. I don't have an issue of self-confidence or anything. And my personality changes when I drink, but it doesn't get better. I just couldn't be bothered. Because I don't need drink to have a personality. Do you know what I mean? Whatever personality I have, that's what it is before I start drinking. And then
I don't like that anymore now. You said I need a drink.
You do, yeah. Yeah, because you're anal. Your hair is clenched. No, you're nervous. You're wired up, you see. You need 3 or 4 drinks to relax, and then you're better. But see, I'm all right before I even start.
You don't talk to anyone.
I know, that's what I mean. I'm great.
No, you don't.
No, but you need to talk to people. I don't want to
like
talk to people.
talking to people.
I know, but
I like mingling.
But I don't like that. I don't like talking to people because what are they going to say to you? You know. I mean, I don't mind mingling with people who are going to say something interesting to you. I'm not going to mingle with the guys who wants to talk about West Bromwich Albion.
Why not?
Because
Just lost their manager.
I don't want to talk to somebody about, did you see the match last night? What do you think? I don't want any of that stuff. I want to talk to Jeremy Paxman. You don't need, tell me what Richard Nixon's like. That kind of thing. Anyway, I'm getting a little tiddly. Just a little tiddly. Just enough to, if I had another drink, I'd have been over the edge, right? So then they brought us all upstairs, and we went in this big long room. You often see it on television. And I'm looking at the paintings, and I'm like, oh my God, that's a real Gauguin. And I look, hold on, that's a constable. That's a real constable. And I don't know much about art, but I know a wee bit. And I'm looking at him saying,
Do you think the Queen would have fakes?
no, but I've never seen a real constable before in a person's house, except, in Derry, policeman. What about you? I've reason to believe it. Anyway, I'm completely forgot about everything, and I'm looking at all the stuff around me, looking at the great stuff. And I come in front of this door, and I'm passing the door, and the door opens, and in walks the Queen. And she nearly bumps into me. Mm-hmm. And I went, hello. And she went, hello. I said, lovely house. Mm-hmm. And she went, I like it. I said, I'm surprised to see you on your own, alone. I've never seen you alone before, nobody with you. And I said, what do you mean? I said, well, people with you, looking after you, stuff like that. She said, you need bodyguards? I said, well, no. I said, well, I don't suppose you need bodyguards in your house either. As a matter of fact, I don't. And we're chatting away about everything, you see. And we're on, and I'm saying what a lovely house she has and looked at the lovely paintings. And she looked at my little name, and she said, who are you? And I said, my name is Gerald Michael Anderson. I'm a broadcasting person from Northern Ireland. I'm here on behalf of your invitation. Thank you very much for asking me. So we're chatting away about Northern Ireland, this kind of thing, and I'm having a great time. And I'd suddenly noticed there's a crowd around us. She said, hey. And then she starts telling me something. I can't remember what it was. Then I put my arm around her, and I kind of, look, see that over there? I went. And I said, oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. I put my arm around you. The last man who did that was the Prime Minister of Australia, and he was sacked. And she went, it's quite all right. You see? Mm-hmm. And I'm chatting away, and we're having a great fun. And then somebody comes over and goes, Your Majesty, could you come over here and meet someone? And she said, okay, lovely to meet you. Bye-bye. And away she goes, you see. And I went over to a group of people, us from Northern Ireland, and what the person says, do you realise you were talking to her for 5 minutes? I said, yeah. She said, she never talks to anybody for more than 30 seconds. I said, I didn't know that. I said, you put your arm around her and everything. I said, yes. It seemed to be the right thing to do at the time. She said, what were you talking about? Well, I was saying to her, I said, what a great job I think we're doing in Northern Ireland, broadcasting to a divided community. So I got a raise the next day. Anyway. Can you see anything wrong with that story?
Yeah, the last time you talked to her for more than 5 minutes.
Oh, that's the only thing?
You've edited it down a bit. No, it was all pretty. Hello, by the way, there's a call for you. Mm-hmm. Dan from Belfast, who met the Queen in Buckingham Palace, says the reason that you were tiddly, all the drinks are doubles, apparently.
Well, no wonder.
So there you are.
I'll tell you what. You wouldn't need to go up the stairs at all. There was a point you couldn't get up the stairs. If you had 3 or 4 of those, you wouldn't get up any stairs. They'd have to carry you up.
But a double in England's not really.
It's 1.5 halfens.
Yeah, it's not
it's
great.
It's a 1.5 halfens. Jerry, I'm no long. What does it say?
What about the boy on one?
Will you wait? What's your hurry?
He's waiting. He's been long to waiting. 10 minutes. He's waiting.
Try to tell a story. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Jerry. Good morning.
I'm sorry to keep you.
No problems. Jerry, look, I'll buy you a double when you come to Belfast if you do me a big favour. As long as you don't do a Johnny Best on me now.
What's that?
Well, my granddaughter's got a DVD made, and the fellow made it says he couldn't believe her voice. Like, she's a bit shy on it, you know what I mean?
Yes.
But if I give you it, would you listen to it and maybe play it for her?
Who's this person singing on it?
It's Clean O'Reilly.
What did he say?
Pardon?
It's his daughter.
What's your
Granddaughter.
granddaughter?
Yeah.
Well, what's your name?
Clean O'Reilly.
Keela.
Clean.
Yeah, okay. Oh, well, please do send it to me. No, I encourage people to send me stuff because, I might get 200 CDs.
I know that, Jerry. That's what
No, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm not saying what I'm saying is I might get 200 CDs. Now, I'm not saying that all of them are any good, but I listen to every single one of them. And you always know within the first 30 seconds. You always know if the person is any good or not. So it's no big deal for me to listen to 200 CDs. But I listen to every single one of them, but I don't listen to any more. If I don't think they're any good, I don't listen to any more than 30 seconds.
Dead on, Jerry, dead on.
So, but if I hear something in the first 30 seconds, I keep it on. Please send it to me.
What would I sell it to, Jerry?
BBC Radio Foyle, Foyle,
But I could leave it in at Belfast.
You can leave it in Belfast,
reception.
Broadcasting House, and ask them to give it to me.
No problem, Jay. Okay.
And if you leave it in today, I'll get it tomorrow morning.
Right, I'll leave it in today. Thanks very much, Jay.
Not at all.
Yeah,
Thank
John,
you.
I'm on.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well.
Where was the urgency in that? There's no urgency about that.
Emma's a good child.
She's not the same, since she got pregnant. I swear. She's too excitable. Gerry, I've just heard you say you've got a new microphone. What happened to the old one? Can I have it? I promise I'll put it to good use. I'm a young radio ham, and it would go well in my shack. Come on, Gerry. You know you want to give it to me. Many, many thanks. There's no reason why I couldn't do that. Do you know the way in the BBC, when they don't use a thing, they throw it out in the garden?
Yeah.
I could send him the microphone, couldn't I? But if he asked the people in the BBC, they'd say, you can't do that. But if I know the old microphone that didn't work, I could send that to him, as long as I don't tell anybody. You know the way it is in the BBC, if you say, can you do that, they say, oh, no, you can't. If you don't tell them, it's okay.
The microphone that
didn't
didn't work.
Uh-huh. He wants the microphone.
No, it's down in my studio now. I'm using it. Ken give it to me.
He can't give you the microphone that doesn't work?
Yeah.
That's not a vote of confidence, really, is it? Is it? It's no good. Oh, I want to play this. A person wanted me to play this. I can't remember his name, but I think I should, because I love it.
If I give up the seat I've been saving to some elderly lady, oh man, am I being a good boy? Am I your pride and joy? Mother, please, if you please, say I am. And if while in the course of my duty I perform an unfortunate take, would you punish me so unbelievably so? Never again will I make that mistake. This feeling inside me could never deny me the right to belong if I choose. And this pleasure I get from, say, winning a bet is to lose. When I'm drinking my Bonaparte shandy, eating more than enough apple pies, will I glance at my screen and see real human beings starved to death right in front of my eyes? Nothing old, nothing new, nothing ventured, nothing gained, nothing stillborn or lost, nothing further than proof, nothing wilder than you, nothing older than time, nothing sweeter than wine, nothing physically, recklessly, hopelessly blind, nothing I couldn't say, nothing why, cause today, nothing rhyme. Inside me could never deny me the right to belong if I choose. And this pleasure I get from, say, winning a bet is to lose. Nothing good, nothing bad, nothing ventured, nothing gained, nothing stillborn or lost, nothing further than proof, nothing wilder than you, nothing older than time, nothing sweeter than wine, nothing physically, recklessly, hopelessly blind, nothing I couldn't say, nothing why, cause today, nothing rhymed.
That's Gilbert O'Sullivan, or as he is known in Ireland, Gilbert O'Houlihan.
On 92 to 95 FM
and 1341 medium wave.
This is BBC Radio Ulster.
It's 11 o'clock and with the BBC News, this is Keith Burnside. A man has died and 2 other people have been injured in a car crash in Ballyarnett village on the outskirts of Londonderry. The car the man was driving was in collision with another vehicle at Alder Road just after midnight. The Crime Stoppers charity is offering a reward of £10,000 for information in relation to the murder of the Coleraine pensioner who died after a burglary at his home in the early hours of Monday morning. Bertie Atchison was assaulted after he confronted an intruder in his home in Glenmore Gardens. The reward is for information that leads to the arrest and conviction of his attacker. The Governor of the Bank of England, Sir Mervyn King, has said he's ready to cooperate with any new inquiry into the bank's failures before the financial crisis in 2008. He's also defended his view that the credit crunch was a bust without a boom. Here's our business correspondent, Jonty Bloom.
Sir Mervyn's view that there was no economic boom before the credit crunch of 2007 has been strongly attacked by some of the bank's critics, who point out that house prices were shooting up and credit was far too readily available in the years before the banking system collapsed. But Sir Mervyn said that with low inflation and steady unemployment, there was no sign of an out-of-control economy. But he does say that the Bank of England was late to the game in understanding how vulnerable the banking system had become. Sir Mervyn also does see signs of a recovery this year and blamed high commodity prices for the economy slipping back into recession.
There have been angry exchanges between President Sarkozy of France and his socialist challenger François Hollande in a televised debate before the presidential election is decided on Sunday. Both men accused each other of lying. Mr Hollande is leading in the polls going into the final round of voting. Weetabix has been taken over by a Chinese company. Bright Food of Shanghai has bought a 60% share of the Weetabix Food Company, which is based in Northampton. The cereal firm also makes Alpen and Ready Brek. Sport now. Here's Denise Watson.
Thanks, Keith. The Newcastle United manager Alan Pardew has described Sissy's wonder strike at Chelsea as astonishing. He scored both goals in the 2-0 win, which keeps United in the hunt for Champions League qualification next season. Cardiff take on West Ham in the first leg of the Championship playoff semi-finals tonight. Rory McIlroy has defended his decision to cut back on his playing schedule. He says he doesn't want to run the risk of burnout. And Tyrone manager Mickey Harte is to stay in charge for another 3 years after agreeing a new contract with the Red Hand County. Harte, who led Tyrone to All-Ireland Championships in 2003, 2005 and 2008, was in the final year of his current 3-year contract.
And what sort of day can we expect? Angie Phillips.
Hazy sunshine across central and western areas where temperatures have already been rising and should reach a warm 17 or 18 Celsius this afternoon across parts of Fermanagh and West Tyrone. Cloud across the east will also start to lift and the sky should brighten, but the onshore breeze will keep things cool on the north coast and will bring increasing amounts of cloud through the afternoon too.
BBC News.
BBC Radio Ulster. Travel news.
In Bangor, the traffic lights on the A2 Belfast Road at Rathgale Road are still not working, and this continues to cause delays for drivers travelling towards Bangor. Elsewhere in County Down, and a homecoming parade by the 2nd Battalion Mercian Regiment is taking place in Holywood. As a result, High Street is closed and some delays are expected. In Derry, the Racecourse Road remains closed at Alder Road Junction towards Ballyarnett Village. That's after an accident earlier this morning. And at George Best Belfast City Airport, a number of flights due to arrive in the last hour have been diverted to airports in Glasgow and Dublin. These include arrivals from Leeds, Manchester, Southampton and Gatwick, and this is because of low visibility. For any passengers hoping to travel this morning, it may be best to check with your airline and the airport before you do so. Elaine Sutherland reporting.
Travel news on BBC Radio Ulster.
On Talkback with Wendy Austin today, was Cardinal Brady ready to go 2 years ago? A prominent priest says he was. What's your view? And we'll hear from a parish priest about working in a church riven by scandal. Also today, the planning system has to act properly, move quickly and give confidence to all. That's what the minister says. He's on Talkback today. Has planning worked for you? The battle of the bands, the marching bands that is. The Ulster Unionist leader says he's proud to support them. The DUP's urging them to apply for funds for instruments. What's going on there? And polystyrene, nails on blackboards, forks on plates. Tell me about your worst sound on Talkback at 12.
Thank you, Wendy. Gentleman writes and says, is it safe to turn on Radio Ulster? Is Nolan gone? Yes, it's okay. He's away.
In 1814 we took a little trip along with Colonel Jackson down the mighty Mississippi.
You started this talking about Lonnie Donegan.
I know.
Fought the bloody British in the town of New Orleans. We fired our guns and the British kept a-comin'. Wasn't as many as there was a while ago. We fired once more and they began to runnin' down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico. Well, we looked down the river and we seen the British come, and they must have been 100 of them beating on the drum. Stepped so high and they began to sing. We stood beside the cotton bales and didn't say a thing. We fired our guns and the British kept a-comin', but there wasn't as many as there was a while ago. Fired once more and they began to runnin' on down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico. Yeah, they ran through the briars and they ran through the brambles and they ran through the bushes where a rabbit couldn't go. They run so fast that the hounds couldn't catch 'em down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico. Well, we fired our cannon till the barrel melted down. Then we grabbed an alligator and we fought another round. Filled his head with cannonball and powdered his behind. And when we touched the powder off, the gator lost his mind. We fired our guns and the British kept a-comin'. Wasn't as many as there was a while ago. Fired once more and they began to runnin' down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico. Yeah, they ran through the briars and they ran through the brambles and they fired through the places through the rabbit couldn't go. On down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico. Get in line there, boys. Here come Colonel Jackson. Yeah, fired one guns and the British kept a-comin'. Wasn't as many as there was a while ago. Fired once more and they began to runnin' on down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico. Yeah, they ran through the briars and they ran through the bramble. They ran through the bushes where a rabbit couldn't go. They ran so fast that the hound couldn't catch 'em on down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico. Ah, you can't catch me. Can't catch me there, Redcoat.
That was Johnny Cash from an album he made in 1972 called America, The Ballad of New Orleans. Lots of requests for this. Roxy Gordon, Indians.
So Hank Williams was an Indian, but John Kennedy wasn't. And Chuck Berry is an Indian, but Michael Jackson ain't. And street people are Indian, but presidents of the United States ain't. And Pancho Villa was an Indian, but Che Guevara was not. And Leonard Peltier is an Indian, and the FBI ain't. And Willie Nelson is an Indian, but the president of Baylor University and unions full of cops ain't no Indians. And Los Angeles is an Indian, but New York City ain't. And Fort Worth, Texas is an Indian, but Dallas, Texas ain't. And Africa is an Indian, but Europe ain't. And baseball is an Indian, but football ain't. And Crazy Horse was an Indian, but General Custer wasn't. And Sitting Bull was an Indian, and the Indian policemen who killed him were also Indian. And Quanah Parker was an Indian, and so was Cynthia Ann Parker, who was Quanah's all-white mother. And poetry is an Indian, and journalism ain't, and proper punctuation ain't Indian. circles are ending, and random lines are ending, but straight lines won't never, ever be ending. And red meat is ending, and corn is ending, and potatoes are ending, and fry bread is ending, and health food stores try hard to be ending, and living is ending, but expecting to live forever ain't ending.
That's Roxy Gordon, Indians. A gentleman said, listen, I feel good today. Any more requests for stories?
No, but there's a man wants to talk to you.
That's not the same thing.
Yeah, but...
I feel like telling stories today.
There's a man with...
stories you've never heard.
With anger in his breast.
Oh, great. In his breast?
Yeah.
Good. Listen, there's stories you've never heard, you know.
I know that.
I have stories that I'm dying to tell. I have stories that are dying to burst out of me.
When you write a book?
I have.
Yeah, but when you write a book with your stories?
Well, most of them are in
A book
them.
of short stories.
No, but
but you must have more. You said you have more.
I have more, yeah.
Well, when you write a book?
No, when I say more, I have more stories that I can't tell on the radio.
Why didn't you write a book?
I have written two.
Yeah, but write this. This is the book of stories that can't be told.
No, some of the stories that can't be told are in the books. But I can't talk about them here.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying? If you'd read them, you'd know.
Yeah, but I read a book and a half of yours.
I know, but it's the half that you didn't read. All the dirty stuff is in.
Emma didn't like it.
Emma's too pregnant to like anything. She's gone.
I know
she
she's
realises
gone.
that. She's not the girl she was. She's with children now. She's a mother. It's not the same. We'll have to sack her. Get a single one in. Somebody with a bit of fire in them. No, I feel like telling stories today.
What about the... Well, here...
If anyone asks you for any stories, pass it on to me.
I shall.
Encourage them.
But
see, sometimes people don't want me to tell stories. You don't, for a start.
I do.
You hate me telling
No,
stories.
I like new stories.
Well, why do you just... Well, I
like new
But I
stories.
like taking old stories and making them new.
You see,
Adding things on them. I'm like a house that builds an extension onto it. That's all I'm saying. Listen, a person complains and said, whilst I was talking to the Queen, did she not ask about Geordie? Well, she did, actually. She said, how's the skin on Geordie's arse taking?
That's terrible. That's terrible. Geordie, by the way, has got his second skin graft and he's up and about. He's doing well.
The Queen was asking, how's the skin on Geordie's arse taking?
He'll be in, I think, over the weekend, in hospital over the weekend, and maybe out of hospital early next week.
Yeah,
so there you go.
Back at home?
Back at home.
That's great to hear that.
Could you talk to a man who wants to give out?
Good morning, sir. I believe you have something on your chest of a non-medical nature. Hello, good morning. Yes.
Hello.
Just finishing his whiskey there.
No,
yes,
it was a nice cup of Punjana tea.
That's all right, Punjana. Oh, is that Willie Crow?
That's me.
Well, he haven't spoken to you for a long time. How are you?
Oh, I'm not so bad.
Have you still got a beard?
Yes.
Is it grey yet?
It's getting a wee bit white in the front there.
Have you seen Gerry Adams' beard? Totally white.
Is it?
Totally white.
Right.
I saw it the other day. I couldn't believe it. He's turned into Eamon Holmes.
Right.
Do you see Nolan's perfecting all his Eamon Holmes expressions?
No, what's
Did you
this?
see him last night? He's working hard at it.
What?
He's twice the size of Eamon Holmes, but he's working at the expressions. You know, the concerned face, and then the surprised face, and then the sympathetic face, the compassionate face, the angry face. Eamon has got it all down to a T. And Eamon, and Stephen's learning very quickly. Hello? Yes.
Hello.
Carry on.
Hello. See, you're away off now on another...
No, but I'm back now.
Are you back?
Mm-hmm.
Were you at the Van Morrison concert last night?
No, I have been to Van Morrison concerts before. I've been to 3 or 4. And the first 3 were complete disasters.
Yes.
But the last one that I went to was the greatest concert I've ever been at in my entire life.
Right.
And I said to myself, I will never see anything as good as that. It was Van Morrison performing Astral Weeks in the Royal Albert Hall.
Yes.
And I know that I'll never see anything better than that, so I'm never going to see Van again.
Right.
Because
Well,
I'm going to
it was
keep
very
that.
good last night.
I'm going to keep that in my mind, because now I realise how good Van is.
That's right. was very good last night.
Were you at it?
I was.
I hear reports in the local paper that he was absolutely fantastic.
I was on form. He actually spoke.
I can't believe it.
A full sentence.
What did he say? A whole sentence?
He says...
How's the skin on Geordie's arse taking? Is that what he said?
No, he didn't say that, no.
No.
He said, well, I suppose this is a jazz festival. I better jazz him up a bit. And then all the crowd, they went wild.
Did he say all that?
He said a whole lot.
According to that's the Gettysburg Address as far as Van Morrison's concerned.
Yes.
Oh well, and that was a big crowd, obviously, was there?
There was a good crowd, but they had a great band.
Oh yes, of course, he always has good guys around him.
But I want to put out a plea, right?
Mm-hmm.
Across the province and beyond. Could you let people know there, or try to explain to them that you don't stand up at the end of a performance and give a standing ovation?
Don't talk to Sean about that.
You know what I mean? You don't do it just because the performance is over. That's a very one-off thing. All the people all stood up and they're all yoo-hooing and yehing and...
Well, you see, we don't get much up here. See, maybe again, the audience thought last night that they were witnessing something special.
I know, but what I'm saying in general, you see that all the time now. People stand up when a performance is over. They think that's what you do.
No, that's because
you don't do that.
That's people
it
who
has
don't.
to be exceptional.
That's people who don't go out.
Exactly.
People who
I'm thinking of starting a national society for the prevention of cruelty to standing ovations.
Sean's got the answer to that. He brings a gun to concerts.
Right.
Anybody who stands up, he shoots them.
I've never seen as big owl young ones. They were all, you know them out they heard a few wee notes they recognised. Yo, dum, 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 bum, bum. Oh, yeah, man. Oh.
Yeah.
And these ones were all real old ones in their 50s and beyond.
There's one particular person that used to follow me around. I first met him in 1966. He was a person that used to always stand up in front of me and dance whilst the band was playing. And every concert I've been since that person is always standing in front of me. And he's older now and he's baldy. But he's still got a jumper with patches in the elbow. And he still jumps and dances in front of me. And every concert I've been to, he's been there. He's a different person every time, but it's a type. And I want to ask those people to stop. Whenever there's lots of people sitting down, listening or something, do not get up and dance if you're the only one, because a lot of people don't mind except the person behind you.
There's no fool like an old fool.
Exactly. I've stopped going to concerts, although I'm going to go to another one. I only go to, well, the last one I was at was The Wall in Belfast, because I wanted to see, in Dublin. I wanted to see that. And the one I was at before that was Van Morrison at the Albert Hall, Astral Weeks. And the concert I was at before that was Paul Simon down in Marley Park. And I'm going to see Paul Simon again, because Paul Simon is the best of them all, because his band is the best of them all. He's going to do Graceland in Dublin, I think it's July the 13th. That'll be, I have to see that, because he's got a full complement of African musicians and, Western musicians, and they're all together and they're just the best in the whole world. Even if Paul Simon never opened his mouth, it would be worth it just to go down there to hear that band, and I want to hear that before I die.
That's what the band was like last night. It was very,
well,
very
see,
good.
they're great, of course.
All good players.
But Paul Simon's band is the best band in the world. The best band in the world.
Right. Well, I thought my band last night was good.
What band was that?
The band I was listening to.
Oh yes, of course they are. Van Morrison's band.
To go one better.
Oh no, Van Morrison.
Is this the battle of the bands?
I'll tell you a story now. I'll tell you how I know that. When I saw Paul Simon and...
Hey, go on ahead.
When I saw Paul Simon in Marley Park, he was preceded by Van Morrison and his band. But Van Morrison had a small band then. It was only a group, about 4 or 5 of them. And Van Morrison was standing there, and Van didn't care that night, and he was disinterested. And the band didn't care either. But they sounded okay. And then Paul Simon came on with his band, and it was just like... I don't know what it was like. It was just like they were completely obliterated.
Yep.
It was just unbelievable. The difference between the two outfits. That's how I know when I say that that's the best band in the world. And anyone who wants to hear the best band in the world, you should go down to Dublin. July the 13th, I think it is, and hear Paul Simon doing Graceland.
Yes.
All right then, go away now, Willie. Thank you.
Well, cheerio, and good luck and good fortune. I'll make some gorchin. Not forgetting the girls in the plum.
Could I have that again?
Good luck and good fortune to the old maids from Gorchin, and not forgetting the girls from the Plum.
That's Plum Bridge, of course.
And Geordie let her before he got out.
Long may your beard whiten in peace.
Goodbye. See you later.
Goodbye. See you later. Goodbye. Speaking of which, some mischievous people out there writing poetry. It's called Come On Baby, Light My Fire. Old Geordie was a stoker who one night burned his poker when once again he set his house on fire. It was left to Dr. Roker to bandage Geordie's poker, fire gutted from the raging pyre. Said wild smart Dr. Roker, whilst gazing at the poker, I fear, dear man, you'll never poke again. Old Geordie grabbed his poker, back from Dr. Roker, tried Jay's fluid. Old Geordie cried in pain. But in spite of all they tried, old Geordie's poker died. Geordie cried just like a small Wayne. What good is a stoker without his trusty poker, a poker that we'll never see again? Do you know why I'm playing this? Do you recognise what that is?
I didn't quite hear it. No.
Maybe it wasn't enough of it.
Well, do another wee bit.
I don't want to. I'll do a wee bit, see if you can get it.
Right, okay.
A little quiz here. That's all I'm going to give you.
No.
It's all right. It's okay if you don't get it.
I can't get it.
I heard a radio programme the other day, and John Peel was talking about his record collection, obviously recorded.
Yes.
And he said that he was talking about listening to old music. And you should listen to him, because he said 99.5% of the music that has been played, 10, 20 years ago, you can't listen to it because it's dated, but you haven't noticed that yet. But he said there are certain bands that never, ever, ever date. And he named one. And he said there's about 2 or 3 bands, no matter what you play, it just sounds as if it was recorded yesterday. And he named one of those bands, and I said to myself, you're right. And that band is called Little Feat. And this is what this is. A band called Little Feat, a song called Dixie Chicken. It's 30 years ago.
I've seen the bright lights of Memphis and the Commodore Hotel. And underneath the street lamp, I made a sailing down. Well, she took me to the river where she cast her spell. And in that southern moonlight, she sang this song so well. If you be my Dixie chicken, I'll be your Tennessee lamb, and we can walk together down in Dixieland, down in Dixieland. Well, we made all the hot spots. My money flowed like wine, and then I low down southern whiskey began to fog my mind. And I don't remember to spell the money I put down on the white picket fence and boardwalk of the house at the edge of town. Oh, but boy, do I remember the strain of her frame, and the nights we spent together, and the way she called my name. If you be my Dixie chicken, I'll be your Tennessee lamb, and we can walk together down in Dixieland, down in Dixieland. Yeah, well, it's been a year since she ran away. Yes, that guitar player sure could play. She always liked to sing along. She's always handy with the song. Then one night in the lobby, yeah, of the Commodore Hotel, I chanced to meet a bartender who said he knew her well. And as he handed me a drink, he began to hum a song.
rain, rain, beautiful rain. Rain, 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 beautiful rain. Oh, come, never come. Oh, come, never come. Oh, come to me, beautiful rain. When the sun says goodnight to the mountain, I am dreaming of the sun. Say goodnight. When the sun says goodnight to the mountain, I am dreaming of the sun. Say goodnight. When the sun goes down, the birds on the trees are singing sweet for the night. When the sun says goodnight to the mountain, I am dreaming of the sun. Say goodnight. When the sun goes down, the birds on the trees are singing sweet for the night. When the sun says goodnight to the mountain, I am dreaming of the sun. Say goodnight. When the sun goes down, the birds on the trees are singing sweet for the night. When the sun says goodnight to the mountain, I am dreaming of the sun. Say goodnight. Rain, 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 beautiful rain. Rain, 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 beautiful rain. Oh, come, never come. Oh, come, never come. Oh, come to me, beautiful rain.
That's Ladysmith Black Mambazo. That's a song called Rain, Rain, Beautiful Rain, talking about Paul Simon. That's from an album called One World, a 2-CD set, a musical journey around the globe, it says here. And before that was Little Feat, a song called Dixie Chicken. That's a special request for Linda. That's from Brian in Catalunya. What?
There's a lady waiting to talk to you.
I'm sorry. Hello, good morning, madam. How are you?
Good morning, Gerry.
Hello, how are you today?
I'm fine. How are you?
I couldn't be better, thanks.
That's good. That's good. Did Sean say what I am looking for?
No, he did not. No, he doesn't tell me anything.
I would like to know where I would get a tortoise.
A what?
A tortoise.
A tortoise?
Yes.
Well, any good pet shop, I would imagine. Have you tried? Do you know any pet shops?
Yes, I have, and they don't know.
They don't know?
No.
Do they even have terrapins?
No, not at the minute.
You get
I thought maybe one of your listeners might be able to know.
Oh, yes.
Or if anyone is looking to give one away.
Well, how big do you want one? A Galapagos tortoise, or?
Oh, it doesn't matter as long as it's
slow enough.
Yes.
As long as you can catch it. All right then. A tortoise, you know. Did I ever tell you the story?
Oh, why? Why? The question is just hanging there. Why does she want a tortoise?
It's
excuse me.
Yes.
Just a minute.
What? You're about to go off the tangent. You're about to tell a story about you. This is not about you. This is about this lady. I think it's Anne, and she wants a tortoise. Why does she want the tortoise?
I was building up to that.
No, but go ahead, Anne.
It's a present for a friend. That's all I can say.
Are you happy with that answer?
Well, that's good enough for me.
No, Gerry, you
do not think it's a bit of an anticlimax?
No, but is there? Are you allowed to have tortoise? Is there a law or anything preventing you from having them? Is there something why you can't get a tortoise?
I don't think so. No.
You don't know?
I wouldn't care. if I wanted a tortoise, I'd get it anyway. So what do you mean? A policeman going to come into your house and take your tortoise?
Who knows? Yes, who knows?
I have reason to believe you have a tortoise in this house.
Gerry, what's your story behind this tortoise?
Well, I wanted to tell you the first time I saw a tortoise.
This is not the one about the disco lights.
No.
That's all right then.
How dare you?
What?
Suggest that I would tell that story about the disco lights. Do you think I would tell that story about the disco lights?
Yes.
Of course not. This is a different story. I was in Cyprus one time at a place called Coral Bay.
Mm-hmm.
And a gentleman, a Cypriot, told me that at a certain time of the year, tortoises come out of the sea and lay their eggs in the sand.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I said, what time of the year? He said, and he gave me a date, and it just so happened that I was there. And he said, if you go down there, and they're very quiet, he said, you'll be able to see them. So I went down and I saw this. And the tortoise came up. And where I thought they should lay their eggs, they just continued on.
Mm-hmm.
And he was with me, this guy. I said, why are they doing that? He says, well, normally what they used to do is they used to use the moon as a guide. They'd see the moon and they'd head towards the moon. And, you know, they'd use that as a kind of a sextant. I said, but the only thing is they've opened this disco. And it's confusing them, so they're all going up towards the disco. I said, but they can't get in because they're wearing shell suits.
Oh, you got it in, didn't you? How do you tell it? How do you tell it?
No, the story I was going to tell was the first time I ever saw a tortoise. There was a friend of mine used to have a pet shop. And a lady well known to people in Derry, Greta Torrance, and she was a lovely woman, and she kept horses.
I find that a very difficult word to say.
What's that, tortoise?
Tortoise.
No, it's tortoise.
Tortoise.
So you're saying tortoise.
Tortoise.
It's hard to say.
Tortoise.
Say tortoise.
I have to nod my head when I say it. Tortoise.
Jesus.
Like
Like,
tortoise.
hello, good day, Jesus.
Tortoise.
Tortoise.
Put your head down.
Tortoise.
Tortoise.
All right. Tortoise. Tortoise. My mother used to say that when she said hello to people. She'd say hello.
Hello. You always
Hello.
bowed your head. Hello.
How are you?
Tortoise.
Anyway, the first time I saw a tortoise, I used to hang around with this lady's daughter, and you're in the house and stuff. I was sitting in the front room one time, and you know, you're sitting in the sofa. Nobody had TVs then. You're sitting talking. I felt this thing in my shoe from underneath.
In your shoe?
No, going round my shoe. I looked down and I saw this thing, this neck. I thought it was a snake. I nearly died, and then I realised it was a tortoise. It's the first time I ever saw one. First time I ever saw a monkey. It jumped from the clothesline and onto my shoulder. That's not the way to see a monkey for the first time. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. You're looking for a tortoise, you say?
Yes, please.
Can I ask you what area of the province you live in?
I'm in your neck of the woods, Gerry.
Londonderry?
Yeah.
Londonderry. All right
Yeah.
then. Okay. Where would you get a tortoise? There are no pet shops in Derry, are there?
Yes, there is.
Is there? Where is there? Do you know a pet shop here in the city?
There's Jollies and there's Pets R Us, but...
Really?
Yeah.
I never knew that. And they have no tortoises. They have no tortoises.
No.
Well, maybe maybe they're stock taken.
They were on sale in a garden centre in Lisburn. Dobbies, I think.
Pardon?
Dobbies. They're quite expensive, you know. Did you know that?
Well, money's not an option.
Oh,
how much is a tortoise then?
Well, you put a price on a tortoise head.
I would spend 20 quid for a tortoise.
Go ahead, Anne.
I see you 10.
Eh?
30 quid?
I think
how much, Anne?
could be near 100.
Right, okay.
No, it's less than that. I can tell by his voice.
City reptiles in Belfast also have tortoises. Now, according to this person, right, you're going to pay more than 100 quid.
You get one on the internet.
You're going to pay more than 100 quid.
Somebody will post you one.
You still interested?
Yes.
You see this woman's rotten my money.
All right then.
How much? Give us a price then. Don't be so cagey.
I just want to know how far
The price is prepared to go. That's what you say to all the girls. Listen, why don't you just tell? Why don't you just say you're so cagey? That's a horrible thing that you do. You never tell people anything.
You
tell her how much a tortoise is.
Well, how much? Right.
Look, tell her how much a tortoise is.
I'm going to do that in a minute, but I just want to ask you in there with your grey polo neck on you. How much? What's the max you would pay for a tortoise?
I don't want a tortoise.
If you did want one.
How do I know how much I'd pay if I did want one? I need to know if I want one or not.
You said £20 a minute ago.
I only just threw it off the top of my head.
Well, what's the max?
Max?
Yeah, come on. What can
if you don't want one,
what can I stretch you to?
But listen, you can't stretch me to anything because I don't want a tortoise, so I can't tell you that. I mean, if you want a thing badly, you'll pay money, but I don't want it at all. 20 quid would be my limit. I wouldn't pay any more. I don't want a tortoise.
So you wouldn't pay any more than 20 quid?
No, because I don't want one.
Because you don't want. It's like a snake. You don't want a snake, so you don't care what price.
It's just like a snake with a coat on.
Right. Yes.
Right.
Sorry. Well, apparently they're anything up to 300 quid.
Well, thanks for that. That took me 10 minutes to tell us that. 300 quid's a lot of money enough.
Mm-hmm. But they last for a long time.
They do, actually. You get value for your money. What about a turtle?
No.
When they die, you can make soup. Okay. So there we are. Where's City Reptiles, Sean?
Belfast.
Belfast's a big city. Any idea where it might be?
No.
City Reptiles.
You just look up the
City Reptiles.
Oh, I know where it is.
Where?
It's beside that Ginger restaurant, isn't it? There's a nice restaurant there called Ginger. And the only reason I know that because I remember going out full one night, and looking in the window and saying, "Jesus, boys, there's animals."
Emma says yes, you're right.
That's right. It's near the BBC. What do you call it? It's near My Tree. Do you know where My Tree is in Belfast?
No.
Well, describe a turtle to me.
I want to describe My Tree.
No, describe a turtle and describe a tortoise. Tortoise is a big boy with a big humpy shell on him, a big shell, and he's got a very scraggy neck.
No, it's a tortoise as well.
Well, yeah,
a Galapagos tortoise.
Yeah, right.
I mean, maybe the Galapagos turtle, is it? I don't know.
What's the
difference between a tortoise and a turtle?
What,
I think their noses are sharper.
I don't know. No.
I don't know. Never mind that. Do you not know where My Tree is?
No.
BBC Black Staff. You know where that is in Great Victoria Street?
No, but I'm sure I could find out. But it's City Reptile.
Yes, Great Victoria Presbyterian Church. My Tree is outside. Whenever you see a tree...
Is that for City Reptiles?
Yes, round the corner.
Is it anywhere near there?
Yes. Can you hear me explaining? When you find My Tree, you'll see my name on it. A little plaque. See, and this tree was planted by Gerry Anderson in 1848.
I would say...
Will you stop interrupting me?
I would say Anne has a better chance of when she's stopping people and asking people in Belfast if she asks where City Reptiles.
No, ask them where My Tree is.
Do you know where Gerry Anderson's tree is? They'll know where City Reptiles
I peed up against it one night.
There's been a story to ask you to tell... Well, a request to ask you to tell a story of you peeing on the grass. I don't know.
Where?
I don't know.
And Gerry?
A fella peed on me once. Outside the Flamingo Ballroom in Ballymena. I can't tell that story.
Tell the story of the time you peed on the grass.
I don't know. That's no story.
Well, I don't know what it is.
I do that nearly every second day. Anyway, there you are, City Reptiles. Do you be in Belfast every now and again? Is there anywhere nearer?
I'm sure there is.
Is there anywhere nearer she can get a tortoise?
Well, it depends on where you are.
She's in Derry.
Well, I didn't know that.
Were you not listening? You not hear saying Londonderry?
I never heard.
Where? Is there anywhere? Have you got a list of places there you can get a tortoise?
No, I only have 2.
Well, that's a list. Well, what's the second place?
I told you, Lisburn.
That's further away.
I know.
So there we are. Why don't you ring the people in City Reptiles in Belfast? And
I will.
Yeah, give them a wee ring.
Okay, Gerry, thank you. One more wee thing.
Yes.
If you have time today, could you put a wee request in for my mum? Any Elvis song would be grateful.
Any Elvis song? Okay. Mm-hmm. What's your mum's name?
Margareta.
Margareta. Oh, lovely name. Mm-hmm. All right then. Is there a
okay,
birthday?
Gerry.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you, bye-bye.
Thank you, bye. You're so hard. You're hard work, you know.
I am not.
You are hard work.
I was only trying to help that girl.
That's a Derry thing. You won't tell anybody the price of anything. Derry's the only place in the world you look at the paper and you look at a house and they won't tell you what price it is.
I told you the price of the tortoise.
I know, it took me 10 minutes to get out of you. What's wrong with you people?
What about Liam?
What?
Liam's on too.
Is he? I didn't know that. Hello, good morning, Liam.
Good morning, Gerry.
How are you? Sorry for keeping you. Okay.
I'm just following up about the update on the teeth. Remember, I phoned you on St. Patrick's Day.
About your teeth? You lost your teeth, that's right. And tell me, did you get them again?
No, I never found them. But, no, like I said, I've got a new set. I only get the new set on Monday. So I had to wait about 6 weeks on my teeth coming.
I see you're having a little difficulty talking.
Yeah.
Or is that...
No, it's just getting settled in.
You're breaking them in?
I'm breaking them in, as the man says.
Well, is this an upper set or a lower set or 2?
It's a lower set.
A lower set?
Yes.
Well, did you get them made especially for you?
Yes.
And what's it like getting a new set of teeth?
It's very... it's hardly 8 guns, you know. 8 guns.
Well, we were hopeful that you would find your teeth because they were spotted.
They were spotted, yes. The girl phoned me and they were spotted outside your old house, yes.
So somebody must have maliciously removed those teeth and disposed of them. You see, what I would do, and we had a discussion on this programme about this very subject, if a man, say I'm walking along the street, I'm minding my own business alone, and I look down on the pavement and I see a man's set of spare teeth lying on the ground, there's 2 things I can do. 3 things I can do. 1, walk past. Second thing is kick them. And the third thing is maybe get a small tissue and lift the teeth and put them on an adjacent windowsill on the understanding that whoever lost those teeth may come back looking for them and would have probably a better chance of seeing them if they were predominantly placed on a person's windowsill. Now, I suggest this is what we saw. And when we heard of your teeth, they were still on the ground, the person hadn't the nerve to lift them. And I suggested whoever went down there would lift them, put them on the windowsill. But obviously somebody went down there and kicked them or tramped on them or destroyed them, and I think it's despicable.
I think they were only 1 day old.
1 day old teeth, a 1 day old set.
One
I
day old
swear. It just goes to show the type of people we have Anyway, long may you break them in. Will you ring us back when you've got them entirely broken in?
Oh, I'll let you know. I'll give you another update, surely.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, then. Thank you, bye.
Bye. It's good to hear from a man who's breaking his teeth in.
Paul apparently is on one.
Is he?
Yeah.
Maybe the waiters at Buckingham Palace are small because the Queen is quite small. Oh, no, she has her own bottle. What's the point in not being a queen if you haven't got your own bottle? Gerry, I've had enough. I listen to you every day and always text in. So this time I decided to email you to tell you I'm never going to text you again. I always fail to get a mention. This man is claiming that I never read the texts. I know that I may fall below your standards because I'm a common fella from Newton Abbey. That being said, every time I text the fat man, he always calls me back and wants to get me on the air. That's because he's dying to get people in. Every time I text Wendy, she always reads out my texts and thanks me for my input. And a wee man from Strabane, you will, always wishes my family happy birthday and good luck, God bless you. And now, just as I'm writing this to you, you gave me a mention. That's the first time ever. I can't believe it. I'm the young radio ham. Well, there you go. You've just put a smile on my face for even giving me a mention. Now I take back everything that I was about to say. You see, he was writing this in a fit of anger or a fit of jealous rage, and he heard me in the radio, and he still wants the microphone. Tell Sean to get himself a new one. Why didn't you give him that microphone that you...
No, it was given to me.
So the microphone's no good. Why do you accept a microphone that's no good?
Ken gave it to me.
So anyway, you can email me. Anyway, it just goes on and on. Sean, this is fun for you, but this has come to me. Asked Gerry what he was doing walking around the grounds of the City Hall last May Day, as the marathon had just got away and him supposed to be running. Tell him I can furnish him with a photograph. Well, I can hold my head high and tell you that this day, no, not this day, May Day is next Monday, isn't it? Next Monday is this Monday coming. May Day is next Monday.
Is May Day not over?
No.
Sure, May started.
And it was the first Monday in May is May Day. The first Monday in May is next Monday. Last Monday was the 30th of April.
Don't tell me it's a bank holiday.
It is. You have to keep your money in your pocket. Anyway, I was not supposed to run the marathon last year. I was involved in a programme with the Fat Boy. The Fat Boy had promised to run a marathon and, of course, got fatter and ran none of it. So, to make it look not as bad, I promised to run one leg, which was the fourth leg of the marathon. So the reason I was walking around City Hall, I was waiting to be taken out to the place where I joined the race. And I must say I acquitted myself admirably. Hi Gerry, great music. Would love to hear Ramona from Sinead Lohan or Bright New Rose from Donna Taggart. Well, Donna Taggart's going to be a guest in this programme in a few weeks' time, so I'm looking forward to that.
How long would you expect Van Morrison to perform for on stage?
Well, okay.
Give me a time.
Well, let's put it this way. Oh, you mean, I thought you mean until he dies?
No, a show.
I would, well, you see, Van is quite good like that. Now, when I saw him in the Albert Hall, he did over 2 hours.
Right.
And he did a thing which I thought was a mistake. See, the first half of the show, he did all his kind of regular stuff, and he was wearing a nice suit. And then he had a bit of a break, and then he came out to do Astral Weeks. And he did that Elvis thing, whereby Elvis comes out, with a leather suit on, a leather jumpsuit. No, just a leather suit, right? And he came out with a leather suit.
Van Morrison in a leather suit?
No, but the worst thing was he wore a hat. No man, and I'm telling you this, no man can wear a yellow suit.
A yellow suit?
No, sorry. No man can wear a leather suit with a pork pie hat. It cannot be done.
No.
It cannot be done. How long you would expect him to do? Well, you mean the Millennium Forum?
Mm-hmm.
I'd say maybe an hour and a half.
Yeah, well, he apparently did an hour and 40 minutes. I had a lady on
That's
there.
Right, yeah.
A lady on, and I said, well, that's normal.
That's good,
That's okay. And she said, no. She didn't do any of his hits, and she's quite annoyed at the money she paid, and she feels as though the profit that they made from her ticket last night, or Van Morrison made, that she would like him to give it to charity. So I'm only passing.
That's a person who doesn't go out much.
This lady has travelled the world listening to music. Been to Vienna, been to New York, been to London, been all around, and she says that's so.
So Van Morrison went out, and he apparently was really good last night, and he played for 1 hour and 40 minutes. And she's still not happy.
Mm-hmm.
What does she want to hear? Bright Side of the Road.
Here, come here.
Come here. Come here.
Have you?
What's going on in there? What's Ken
You bad boy.
Ken, what's Ken doing?
You bad wee boy.
Ken slipped you something there, didn't he?
He did slip me something.
Are you afraid to read it? Are you afraid to read it?
Oh, you little article, you.
He's bad article. He's getting his own bag.
Yes, he is.
What, he slipped you a note there. What,
Yes.
Can you read it?
Yes.
Is it dirty?
No.
What does it say?
He's pulled the wool over your eyes. There's a call for you, by the way, before you forget. He's pulled the wool over your eyes.
In what way?
He switched the microphones again. You've got the old microphone.
It's not the old microphone.
He is.
It's not the old microphone.
A new one. You've got a different microphone from yesterday.
Yeah. But it's the
And
same.
you didn't know.
No, but it's not the old. I know, but that's because you put a cover on it.
You didn't know. But
it's the same type of microphone.
Is it a different? It's a different microphone, Ken
Yeah,
said.
but it's okay. It's not like that horrible one he gave you. That horrible one he gave you is much inferior to this
But he
one.
gave me the one you were using. The one you were using yesterday. I've got that.
Well, I want it back.
You're not getting it back. Ken, give it to me. Give a thing, take a thing.
The dirty wee shite.
You see? So Ken, give me your yesterday's microphone.
There'll be more about that.
There's a call.
Why is Che Guevara not an Indian, but Hank Williams is?
I was disappointed in that.
Che Guevara was... he was like... let me put... Who is he like? See, Che Guevara was not the real McCoy. He was kind of like a showman. He was like kind of like... who could I put? It's kind of like... I don't know, the boy out of the One Show.
So your man who wrote that
Hank
song
Williams was the real
saw
article.
through him.
Che was kind of... He was... but he decided for the main chance.
Yeah.
Please tell your story about the time Dustin Hoffman crossed the road in America. Oh, that's not a story. That's just an expression, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm walking here. I'm walking here. That's not a story. What was Gerry getting in the palace? Full. And the Queen said, according to your mate Gerry Kelly last week, Lonnie Donegan was born in Glasgow and was the first Scotsman to have a #1 hit with Cumbernauld Way. Cumbernauld Way?
It was Cumberland Gap. This would be
16 miles to Cumbernauld Way. Gerry, you never answer my texts. Why? Because I couldn't be bothered. Was the taxi driver that brought you to Buckingham Palace, was he Australian? It was with great pain that I pressed 1 on my digital remote last night at about 10:30 to watch a repeat of yesterday's radio show that has now squeezed its way onto the TV. From my last email, it appears nothing has changed. Audience members teased in with the promise of a free cup of tea or a pint. Guests coming in from the back door and you can't see them. Surely the BBC would have told the man to comb out his grey hair. It's starting to blend into his huge suit, which actually looks like patchwork. The lengths these wardrobe people go to get the man clothed must be extreme. Think of the cloth that's been used that could have been sent to China. I'm not sure if I can make the 3rd episode. He looks better on your on-the-air cartoon. Look, that's a cruel thing. But I know Stephen can take it. See, I like Stephen because Stephen can take that kind of thing. I always say to Stephen, I said, if I ever say anything that annoys you, I've succeeded.
Paul's on 1.
One night I went out with my husband, said Michelle. It was his work's due, a formal occasion, so we were all dolled up. He introduced me to his workmates and we stood chatting before we got a drink. I saw a man standing nearby. He wore a white shirt and a black bow tie and black trousers. I said to him, could I have a drink, please? It was his boss. There's a certain presenter in the BBC who once asked one of the bigwigs in the BBC to look after his dog.
Yes.
Thinking he was just a guy standing there. Look after my dog for a minute, will you? The bigwig in the BBC said, I don't think so.
It didn't help that person.
We will not name that person.
It hasn't helped him.
I don't know.
Anyway, it's 10 minutes to 12.
Please play Charles. You don't know me. Gerald, I heard you talking about moving statues. Did you ever hear the song by Baz McSherry about the crying statue? Oh, I did actually. It's very good. And I'll be talking to a lady tomorrow morning about there's a bit of a thing on
tomorrow Friday.
Yes.
Is it?
Yes. Jeepers, sorry. Where does the time go?
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a bit of a thing on in the Black Box next Tuesday night. It's called In the Dark. And what it is, it's an experiment. Well, it has never been done before, but it's happened in England a couple of times, a few times, very successful. What you do is you get a particular radio show and you get people to come in, you get the presenter and the person who produced it, then you play the radio show and you sit and listen to it and then you talk about it, and the presenter talks about it, the producer talks about it, and it's a question and answer session. So there's a program called The Mystery of the Moving Statues about the appearance of the Blessed Virgin in Knock Basilica on recent times, and it was a very interesting show, I thought. So that'll be next Tuesday night, starting at 8 o'clock. It's a free concert. It's a free. There's no charge for admission. So you contact the cathedral festival people, whatever it is. So I'll be talking to a lady about that tomorrow morning. Great show. The person says the best part is the first half hour, and then it deteriorates gradually. Gerry, are you going to my adopted country, Cuba? Yes, I'm going to Cuba in March. Could you play Guantanamera? Do you know what Guantanamera means?
No.
Girls from Guantanamo Bay.
Guantanamera.
The Guantanamo Bay, where Agrabib,
yeah.
you said torture all the guys.
Yeah.
Well, it used to be a very famous place for beautiful women. So a person from Guantanamo Bay, a woman from Guantanamo Bay, is called a Guantanamera. Mare meaning woman. Guantanamera. Guantanamera.
What's next?
Ostillo Guantanamera.
What's the line after Guantanamera?
Ostillo Guantanamera. Ostillo Guantanamera. Ute tu percho te canto. I'm making that up, of course.
Are you?
Yeah. Sounds good, doesn't it?
What about Paul?
Could you please play Guantanamera or a Comandante Che Guevara? As these songs are played constantly in Cuba, Joan Baez and Pete Seeger did copies of both songs. Viva Cuba Libre from Ernesto Lynch. Great name. What about that? Che McGarrigle.
What was his name?
He was
Lynch is in it.
Yes, he had Aries forebears.
Yeah.
Lynch was, I think his mother's name was Lynch, I think. Che Guevara. What are we doing now? Did you say something?
Paul.
Oh, yeah, where is he? Where is he? One? Paul, good morning.
Good morning, Gerry.
I'm sorry to keep you.
Aye, I was full asleep there. I thought you weren't going to bother coming to me at all.
We've got another one. What can we do for you today, I wonder?
Well, I was wondering, could you play any sort of a half-sensible sort of a song? The last number of songs you played, for God's sake, I never heard anything like it.
But you see, you might say to yourself that maybe perhaps there's some little want in you. You know, and I'm not suggesting there is. But you see,
maybe some people would say there is a want on me, all right. But
see, musical taste is a very individual thing. And one of the first things that anybody learns is that the things that they like may not necessarily be shared by other people.
Well, I would say now the song that I'm going to tell you, if you were asked you to play, I would say the majority of people in Ireland would love it, and possibly England and all, and whoever else is listening, Australia or wherever.
Have you got any particular song in mind that you think I should play?
Hi, Ramona, Sinead Lohan.
Oh, that's a nice song. And
That is a nice song.
Sinead Lohan's a nice song. But I'm afraid I can't play that. Have you heard the official Republic of Ireland song for the European Cup?
No, never heard it.
Would you like to hear it?
Well, I suppose.
No, seriously, would you like to hear it?
Play it?
Would you like to hear it?
Aye, well, I'll listen to that today, and then if you maybe play
All right, then. Okay.
Sinead Lohan tomorrow. Would that not?
That's a bargain. If you listen to this today, I'll play that tomorrow. All right?
Well, I know you've said things like that before, and you never bother, but...
I know that's a kind of me. I'm false. But I'll try and keep my promise.
And here, just before you go, before you start to play that there,
Yes.
how much are you paying Noel Thompson?
For what?
For coming in and doing his laugh. Because you're the boy that always says that you don't like anybody telling jokes or anything, and then whenever you tell a joke that's not even funny, then you bring Noel Thompson in to laugh at it.
Do you see?
So I was just wondering how much money would you be paying Noel?
He's turning on me. It's all right. No, I can tell. I can take it.
Noel Thompson's looking very, very well.
I'm going to tell you something now. Noel
looks
Thompson.
very refrained,
Noel Thompson is one of the nicest persons you could possibly meet.
So we never doubted that. Why bring that up?
Because I'd forgotten how nice a person he was.
You forgot.
No,
how
I
can you possibly forget how nice a person is? Or
Because I
person's a
hadn't
nice
spoken
person?
to him for a long time, and I met him the other day, and I was talking to him, and I thought he was really, really nice. Really nice guy. And looking extremely well.
I've already said that. I spotted Noel Thompson long before you. He was mine before you.
I saw him first.
I saw him first.
We'll have to go now.
Aye, but I don't want to be saying anything about Noel Thompson or anything, how well he looks or anything. Like that. One or something about that. there he's on the nose. Have you were saying maybe like a Karen Patterson or somebody was nice looking? Well, yeah.
She's nice, yeah. She's nice.
She's nice, very nice looking. And
lovely, yeah.
nice
But
too.
Noel's fine. Okay, go away now. Thank you.
Aye, right.
Bye.
Play that tomorrow then. Bye.
Robbie Keane with the chance.
Thought you were playing Gay McIntyre.
Oh,
you already played Gay McIntyre.
Oh, right, yeah, the hell with that. Where is it?
Gay McIntyre.
Where is it?
I gave it to you. I left it on the desk. It's sitting on the desk.
Where is it? I wanted to play this very
I know you
specially.
did.
Where is it?
I left
Where
it
did
there.
go? Something happened there. We
It's
went
sitting
away.
in front of you.
Where did it go?
Stranger
Can't
on the
find it.
shore.
Where is it?
Now, don't panic. Don't take your time.
All right, then.
Your time
All
and
right,
look for it. It's sitting in front of you, and it's
Can't
Gay
find it.
McIntyre. Go on.
I can't find it.
You can't let Gay down now at this stage.
Where is it? I can't find it.
It's over there at the other side of the thing. I left it right in front of you.
But that doesn't mean anything. Hold on a second. I can't find it. I'll find it for tomorrow.
But it's there. You
can't
can't
find it,
lose
I
it.
said.
It's sitting right in front of you.
Hold on a second.
Is that it there? Turn
it's
its back round.
Turn its back around. No, it's not. It's not
It's
there.
there.
It's not there. I'm telling you. If it was there, I'd tell
Sure, I
you.
went up the stairs and brought it down.
I know, but I can't find it. I'll play it tomorrow.
No, well, I send Emma in.
No, it's too late now.
Where is it?
It's too late, I said. I don't know. Look, you've confused me now.
Stranger on the Shore. It's beautiful, so it is.
I'm not going to play Stranger on the Shore. I was going to play Danny Boy.
Look, see your hand there, your right hand.
Yes.
It's there. It's sitting at your right hand.
No, it's not there.
I promise you, I swear to you, it's sitting at your right hand.
It's not here. It's not here. I'm telling you, it's not here.
There's help coming in now to help you.
Okay.
No.
I'm coming in to help
You're
you.
not looking for it. There, Emma.
I can't find
Did
it.
you get
Emma,
it?
where is it? Where is it? It's not there anywhere. It's not there. What am I, blind? It's not
Did
there.
you push it in front of you? Is it under the... Is it in front of you? Sweetheart of all that's holy, how can it disappear? Turn it round. Turn all the CDs round.
I'll play it tomorrow. I can't find it.
How does a CD just disappear?
Tell Emma to stop leaning over me.
Goodness sake.
We've got out, shot the cactus in the sack. We'll not forget you, Jack, on the rocky roads of Poland. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Irish eyes are smiling, let your voices ring. Trapattoni's army, everybody sing. You'll never beat the Irish. You'll never beat the Irish. You'll never beat the Irish. You'll never beat the Irish.
Well, it's been a long time in coming. Like 20.
It was in the machine.
You had it in the machine? That's...
Make your mother proud, inflate your plastic hammer, beat your bowring loud and learn your Polish grammar. Credit Union loans, all the old cars aboard the camper van and picked it up in Warsaw. Been so close before, hopes I'm in the door. Now we're back for more. We can win the battle. Come on, you boys in green. Never have we seen such a fearless team on the rocky roads of Poland.